Hi guys, it's Matt speaking here once again, coming to you from Adelaide, Australia, down under. I'm going to get straight into this. We're going to look at today's bodybuilders. I'm just showing you a few bodybuilders that are very popular today and a couple from the past, but these guys have got a major problem. I mean, bodybuilding is all about aesthetics. It's how we can produce the best male bodies, something that everyone looks up to. You know, when you look at a bodybuilder like you did in the past with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Frank Zane, you know, Sergio Oliver, yeah, there's tons of them. You know, you wanted, when you looked at that body, you wanted to have that body. You went to the gym and you thought, I'm going to be like these guys. You know, they were impressionable upon people, and they brought bodybuilding from the closet out into the open and created the mass hysteria when it comes to gym junkies and so forth. And then you've got today's bodybuilding, whereby they're coming out with these swollen stomachs, distension. I don't know what it's caused from. You know, it looks like heart failure to me, or fluid retention, or whatever. Ascites is the clinical term, whereby the abdomen retains fluid. It's usually a liver problem, but I don't think it is in this case. I just think it might be, I don't know what it is. No one can do no one can seem to be able to pull their stomach in anymore, like they did back in the old days. You know, you look at the video Pumping Iron, and you got Arnold in his day. That was the golden era of bodybuilding. And they can all do the vacuum. They can pull their stomach in and do the vacuum, which gives symmetry to the body. You know? So, the last Arnold Classic that occurred a couple of months ago, Arnold decided to tell everybody that, look, we've got to change. I mean, he's the president of that competition, so he decided to say something. Like, he's getting a gut full of these bodybuilders coming out with bulging stomachs, and he actually said they look like bottles. You know? A bodybuilder is supposed to have a V shape and a V taper. You know, the shoulders are generally supposed to be wider than the hips or the abdomen, and they're coming out with these huge pregnant-like stomachs. I mean, that's not really the way bodybuilding should have gone. It's changed, especially as the mid-90s came along, and you started to get that distension of the stomach. And even though bodybuilding is most probably even more popular today than it's ever been, that's only because you've had the golden era that's come along and pushed it right up in the forefront. But what they're doing now, if we let this keep going now for another 10 years, I think bodybuilding is going to become something of the past. It's really destroying bodybuilding. And it's become a major controversy. That's why I'm making this video, because I wanted to bring it to people's attention that we don't have to put up with this. You know, the people that follow bodybuilding, the people that love bodybuilding, the people that love going to the gym, you know, they really don't want to look up or buy magazines or download magazines and look at these guys with these distension stomachs and they've got no symmetry. You know, they just don't look beautiful. When you see a man, especially back in the golden era of bodybuilding, you saw a man like Frank Zane, who was aesthetically beautiful, Steve Reeves, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was a bit of a mass monster for his day. These guys had beautiful bodies. When you looked at them in a poster in the gym, you thought to yourself, I'm going to pump these weights, man. I'm going to aspire to be like this guy, you know. But today, you just don't have that. You just don't have that. So that seems to be something of the past, and we need to change it. And that's what Arnold's trying to do. He's trying to change it. And so, what does he do? After the Arnold Classic, the last Arnold Classic 2015, he decides to tell everybody. He tries to tell everybody that, look, we have to change this. We have to make it known to people, especially the judges of the Arnold Classic, that when people come up here like this, they shouldn't be winning, getting top bill, like winning the competition over other guys that can actually do the vacuum and look more symmetrical. And he's telling people that we need to change it. We need to get onto the judges, because the mentality obviously has changed. People are just looking at mass monsters, you know, super steroid sort of freaks. The bigger you can get, that's the winner. And that has not been the case in the past. Bodybuilding has always been built on symmetry, the conditioning, when the bodybuilder comes up on the stage, how ripped he is, how defined he is. You know, you can see all the musculature, individual muscles, and obviously the mass helped as well. So that showed the maturity of the bodybuilder. And now all you've got now is just mass builders. And so Arnold is the godfather of bodybuilding, right? He took bodybuilding, like I said before, from the closet out into the open and made it a household name. So he has to be respected for what he's saying. He's noticing that bodybuilding is going backwards, especially in the mentality of the bodybuilding world. Maybe not the popularity, but the mentality of the bodybuilding world. And so, after doing this, the champion, Mr Olympia today, Mr Phil Heath, who I've got a lot of respect for, and he's got a great body, he decides to say something on Facebook about Arnold complaining about the fact that bodybuilding today isn't going the way it should be, and he criticised Arnold for having chicken legs or not having any legs in his day, and he said, by the way, we all know that Arnold didn't have any legs, and that is outrageous. To say something against the godfather of bodybuilding, to say that he didn't have any legs, is just outrageous. As far as I'm concerned, that's just killed Phil Heath's career, because you just can't come out and say something as outrageous and dishonest as that, because Arnold in his day, everyone knows Arnold in his day was superior to everybody else. If you have a look at the history books, if you have a look at all the things that were going on back in the 70s and 80s, you know, Arnold was the man. Until Tom Platz came along, nobody had the legs of Arnold. He beat all his predecessors, even Sergio Oliver, who was a great, I admired a lot. His body was fantastic. Yeah, he was a bit of a mass monster, but even he looked small compared to Arnold in his day when Arnold won the Mr Olympia in, I think it was 1970 or 71. I mean, you look at Frank Zane, you look at even Lou Ferrigno, who towers over Arnold in height, still didn't have the mass in his legs that Arnold had. In Arnold's day, he was supreme. He was the man. For God's sakes, how could Phil Heath ever say anything like that against somebody that brought bodybuilding to what it is to this very day? Phil Heath much wouldn't even be a bodybuilder if it wasn't for Arnold. So this is clearly putting down the grandfather of bodybuilding. And in my opinion, that's just not right. I've lost all respect for Phil Heath, and I'm sure he's lost a lot of fans through saying what he did say. You just can't put Arnold Schwarzenegger down. He is the reigning bodybuilder, and most probably the greatest bodybuilder of all time, and I don't think he's ever going to be superseded. You know, it doesn't matter how many times you win the Mr Olympia. I mean, everyone knows that Arnold left the Olympic scene to go into acting, and then he came back 5 years later and won it. All because he was training to, I think it was do Conan the Barbarian film, and he thought, well, I'm in shape, I'm going to go back and knock these guys off their perch. And 5 years later, out of competition, he decides to be a late entry in the 1980 Mr Olympia, comes in and wins it. So in 5 years, no one had progressed to the greater heights of Arnold. That shows me that Arnold was 5 years, 10 years ahead of his day. So if he'd ever gave up to do filming, to go into his acting career, he must have would have won another 5 or 6 or 7 Mr Olympias. So he would have been like 14 times Mr Olympia. I mean, no one's ever done that. You know, so you just can't criticise a man like that. This is just ridiculous. I mean, you look at it, I'm going to show you some pictures of Arnold in his heyday, and you make your own choices. And you know, you saw the pictures that I put up in the beginning of this video, how everyone's got these distended stomachs. You know, bloated, pregnant bodybuilders. Who wants to look like that? When I look at a bodybuilder today, I don't want to go to the gym. It puts me off. I don't want to go to the gym because I've got nothing to look up to. You know, we're never going to aspire to these guys because these guys are massive steroid guys. I mean, you can't get to that level without steroids and, you know, HGH and testosterone, all the roids that they take, you know. I mean, we're just natural boys. We just get to... I'm just bodybuilding for the sake of being healthy. But, you know, these guys are elite athletes. Regardless of how they do it, what gear they're on, whatever, they are elite and they're winning Mr Olympias and they've got swollen stomachs. And to me, that's taken the thrill out of bodybuilding. You know, there's no symmetry, there's no beauty in the body, the men's body anymore, and I don't aspire to be like that. I'm still looking back, and I'm pretty sure that 90% of the people today that go to the gym still look back at the golden era of bodybuilding and want to aspire to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Frank Zane. The guys that put symmetry there, the guys who had the beautiful bodies. And those guys could still wear jeans. I mean, these guys came in, okay, they've got massive legs. Who cares? They can't even walk. If you see them on the stage, they can't even walk properly. You know, they must really can't even wear a pair of jeans. You know, so let's not take away what bodybuilding, the foundation of bodybuilding. The foundation of bodybuilding was built on symmetry, conditioning, and you know how ripped a bodybuilder was, how defined his muscular was, and mass. Those three things. And we believe today that bodybuilding has only gone into mass. The bigger you are, the better you are. It doesn't matter how big your stomach is, and that's just bullshit. So let's get bodybuilding back to the way it used to be, back in the golden era, and that's all I've got to say. And as far as Phil Heath's concerned, I've lost all respect for him. Anyway, I'm Vas Vegan. That's my rant about today's bodybuilding. I hope you like the video. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, bye. We find her weeping. On her once white wings, she will be carrying the weight of our deeds, and she bleeds for